welcome back to
Yeah.
Kavdaen's Bargain Bin. It's your host, the mediocre master himself, Cyro, along with my co-host, Song. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, hello. It's been a week, but we're getting through it, and tomorrow's my armory day, so I get
Hmm.
to play more Fab.
Hell yeah. It has been a while since we've sat down, mainly because, life.
Life. Yeah.
It's TLDR, life. Um, a lot has happened across all aspects of our beloved game. In particular, the thing we really want to talk about are the changes in formats and how LSS is kind of pivoting focus to both Living Legend and just saying goodbye and old yellering Blitz in favor of Silver Age.
I did. I do find that decision kind of interesting because of how I feel like prominent Blitz is to many formats to an well, Blitz is to the game to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and while I kind of understand the stronger emphasis toward CC and Living Legends to an extent, though I still think CC is probably the marginally smarter option at the moment. Um, I do kind of see the idea of, well, we don't want to, well, we're moving away from Blitz because most people prefer CC anyways, and you kind of have seen that in how they've scheduled events for a while.
Mm-hmm. But it's really interesting given that like every set up to uh what's the most recent one called again? I cannot, it just left me.
Super Slam.
Super Slam. Uh had Blitz decks like prominently featured. I don't remember if Super
It's
Slam did
true.
or not. I don't think they did.
I don't believe so, no.
I'm pretty sure not. I know we obviously had the Pallades Armory deck, but no like
Yes.
combination Blitz box like you've had up to this point. Um, so I guess that should have been a red flag to begin with. Uh, but yeah, it just seems a little off to me to just axe a format which was kind of fundamental to the game up until it suddenly wasn't.
Yeah, it's certainly a decision, but I do wonder how it will affect the future of the game. Yeah,
Hopefully not too much. Like, of course, it's still around. It's not gone. It's just not like the secondary or tertiary format in the competitive scene. It's still going to be around, as far as
hmm
I can tell. From in armories, you can still blitz an armory. It's just not deemed as competitive anymore, I guess. Also, I apologize if my
yeah,
cat can be picked up at any point. She's being a butt.
it's okay. We like cats.
We do.
If you don't, get, get out of our no. Anyways,
Anyway, um, Sage or Silver Age, which is definitely better than the alternative uh, shortening of the name. Seems interesting at least. I do like the idea of Clash, but official, because Clash is way better than Commoner. Just because Commoner's it's kind of hard to work around.
yeah,
You can't really do anything unless like you just happen to be using really good commons as a class or talent. But having the rares is nice. Also, I like the ban list. Getting rid of things like Sink Below, Fate Foreseen, and everything just off rip. Kind of cool. It keeps it from being a drag to everybody involved.
yeah, yeah. Kind of being the same issues that we had been seeing in, I think Blitz and uh, I don't think CC, but um, I think this is kind of the similar problem we had seen in Blitz in that some of those cards that were kind of strong for the kind of strong for the Blitz format just because they do so much.
Hmm.
Um, Now that they're gone, which I didn't actually know, I haven't kept up with it very much, uh, but now that they're gone in Sage, I do think that that will make a difference. I do think that that'll make a difference in terms of the speed and tempo of the format in a
Hmm.
way that Blitz I feel like didn't quite have the same handle on.
Yeah, Blitz was a little too feast or famine. Obviously, I don't think either of us have played any Sage yet. Um, I do have a deck list made. I don't have it put together because I'm incredibly lazy. Uh, but it will be interesting to see like how it does differ from just playing Blitz in like how it fundamentally feels because Blitz really was kind of like, hey, you get one good hand, you've pretty much won the game unless something goes terribly wrong for you,
Hmm. I
which
do though. It
it
does make.
isn't exactly the best way to have a format run. It's a little bit too quick, especially whenever it's kind of like pivoted as like, hey, this is the easier to get into. It's only 40 cards. It's only 20 life. You don't have to worry. It doesn't take as long. It's
Mhm.
kind of meant to be the introductory format, which it still is to a degree, obviously, but not as prominently.
Yeah, I do think to kind of a similar extent. Well, I don't think I do wonder how it will affect heroes with a faster tempo in the first place, because
Hmm.
that is something that I feel like has been kind of a uh that those stronger early cards like Fate for Scene and Sync um did have a did have more of a focus on, well, did kind of put a stopgap between them and decks like uh KO Armed and Dangerous and Katsu, which I don't, like I said, I haven't looked at the band list. Do
Right.
they still have?
I'm actually pulling it up right
Well,
now so I can reference it.
okay.
Oh, shoot.
Um,
Oh, shoot. I clicked the wrong link. Let's try this again. Here, I continue.
um, so I was saying how I do wonder how it will make a difference between um, with faster heroes, because I know that there has been that in Blitz there was always the threat of certain stronger heroes like KO Armed and Dangerous and Katsu having those really powerful turns, and I do think to an extent. I'm not so sure about Katsu as I'm not a ninja player, but I do
Hmm.
think KO at the very least, will still have a lot of access to those stronger turns because he's gotten a lot of really good common and rare support throughout throughout the sets with Brute, namely heavy hitters and now some Super Slam.
Of
So
course.
I do wonder how that will affect
I
how
think
good. Um,
I think the thing though to remember is a lot of the cards that kind of make KO really good are also Majestics,
that's
which
true.
aren't
Crush Battle and
legal.
that sort of thing.
Um,
Yes.
but there are cards that do kind of keep like the really want to go wide or more aggro decks in check, like things like Drone of Brutality. Thankfully, is banned in Sage as well. Ball
Mhm.
Lightning, Aether Flare, Goliath Gauntlets are Heart and Cross Strap, NIMBY, Plunder Run, Rosetta Thorn. Thank goodness. Zephyr Needles. Like it's not just like
I
the
will
really
say
defensive cards that are banned. It's also some of the really good aggro cards that are. So it does kind of
I
keep
will
it
say
a little bit less one side or the other.
that's true. I will say that does kind of remind me um, how many people I heard complaining about the sudden ban of Rosetta Thorn in preparation for Sage, and they're like, "No, I blinged out my Rosetta Thorn," and then it was gone. And to that I say, "L." Um,
Plus
but no,
ratio.
that is a good point. It is something that I haven't fully considered. I haven't looked. I've been kind of busy with my own stuff and just haven't looked as much into Sage as I
Which is
probably
fair.
should have.
So I just did like
But
once it was officially released, I threw together Axis Bolton in Sage because I can't do it in Blitz anymore. Uh,
What a shame. What a shame.
So it'll be my Sage deck, at least, for the time being. Um, but yeah, I still do find it just interesting in general that they took just Blitz and made it no longer a thing, but then brought it back, but slightly lesser.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly a interesting solution. Good solution has yet to be seen, but
Hmm.
a interesting solution nonetheless.
Will say, big prop on it. It will be a lot more affordable because now you don't have to worry about
That is
anything
true.
that's stupid expensive, even for a Blitz deck.
That is true. It does actually. That was making me think, though. Um, and obviously, I don't expect you to have a perfect. I don't expect you to have a super great answer since this is a bit off the fly. But are there any decks or heroes that you think will greatly suffer due to the lack of majestics compared to
Brute. I think
um,
Brute in general will be one of the ones that suffer the most, just because some of their lines really do require things like Blood Rush to be more effective. I still don't think it'll be a bad archetype, but I don't think it'll be anywhere near as good as it is in any of the other formats.
mhm. I do think that it kind of kill. Well, it doesn't matter because young new Prism is a majestic, but it does kind of kill. It would kill her somewhat
Hmm.
because her game plan relies entirely on the angels. Um, and similarly, I do think not Dromai, not Enigma. There was a I had a point and I forgot it. What a
No.
shame.
Um, I think Warriors will be actually quite good in general, though, in Silver Age, just because like a lot of their cards that kind of make Warrior go burr are already common and rare anyway. I can never remember the names of them, but any of them that give like targeted weapon and gets go again or +3 or whatever or both. A lot of those are already just commons and rares anyway. So I think that will actually be quite
Mhm.
a good class. I think Guardian is going to be
Guardian.
kind of middling. I don't think it'll be bad, but I don't think they're going to be top dog just because
Mhm.
sure they do have a lot of really good commons and rares that have really good effects on them, but the problem is they also don't have access to the really good defense reactions and everything. So that
Yeah.
kind of hinders it. I don't
I
think they'll
do
be
think
bad still, but it's definitely not as
yeah.
good.
Looking at it, I do think that the Arachne lines,
Yeah, I think Assassins will
maybe
be
not
quite
Huntsman, but
decent.
no, I was going to say I don't think they'll be very good because a lot of their heavier hitting cards
True.
are majestic.
I did.
I know Bonds is gone, but like Persuasive Prognosis,
Yeah,
yeah, Persuasive Prognosis, Just a Nick, Leave No Witnesses,
I did
those
kind
are
of
all
forget that for a
gone.
second.
Yeah, especially let's see. Marionette I think will somewhat struggle. I
Hmm.
think Huntsman might be more okay because he has a higher
I
damage
think
base,
Solitary will probably be the best out of the three.
likely. That well, yes, almost certainly I would say, but simply because he has that built-in go again that is just so helpful,
Hmm.
and there are still plenty of decent attack reactions
Yeah, and then there are also
in
just some pretty decent
stealth.
like stealth cards at
Mhm.
rare or common. What's the one that damage can't be prevented on? I can never remember the name of it.
Um, I have it. It's in here somewhere. Pick to pieces.
Yes.
You played or activate an attack reaction, gets +1 and
Oh
damage can't
no,
be prevented.
I think it's just like straight up flat
Oh,
effect one. That's what I'm thinking of.
no, that's isolate. I know what you're talking about. It's another stealth card.
Yeah.
See if I can find it real quick. Um, Malign. Damage
Yes.
that would be dealt by
Yes.
Malign can't be prevented.
I think it's going to be really good.
Especially considering this would be a return of Enigma, so
True. I
she
think
has that
OG
upper.
Prism might be pretty good.
I think so too, because I feel like she'll still get a lot of value out of just having those really large, um, out of those really large heralds.
Yeah. I mean, the one downside is obviously you don't get access to like Numenars, which would be insane with her. Um, but even
Mhm.
some of just like the weapons she would have access to would still be pretty good. And then she's just going to be quite defensive still, and pretty much. I mean, the really really good heralds are still majestic, but there's only like two of them anyway. If that, it might only be one actually. So you have basically all the heralds still. Sure, you don't have access to. Um, I'm trying a blank on Arclight.
I mean, at
Sorry,
the same,
you
oh
don't have
yeah,
access to
Arclight
like
set.
Arc Light, but you don't really need it if you're just creating spectral shields a lot. Um, so I think she'll be pretty okay in the more like fatiguey, defensive gameplay way. I think Ira will be quite
Mhm.
good.
Oh, Ira for sure. I mean, Ira's such a basic choice, but it's because she just
Ooh,
has so much strength packed into her. Oh, am I dying again?
you cut out for just a second there, but it's okay.
I said, well, to kind of reiterate what I was saying, I said I think Ira will be quite good regardless, just because there's so much strength kind of packed into her as a
Hmm.
base that I feel like she will be more than fine.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I mean she can just do
I,
anything and be okay. But
Dromai,
if
of course,
everyone's
is once
oh yeah, Dro, my God,
she's looking to be a top pick from what I can tell. Simply because she most of all of her dragons were already what were they? Rares,
hmm
except the three majestics, which a lot of people didn't run anyways.
yeah, which is a choice. It's definitely a choice.
To an extent, that's true. Um,
So I'm just now trying to see all
let's
the heroes
see.
that are legal actually. Azalea's back. She won't be that good though, I don't
That's
think.
true. A lot of the that's true. A lot of the heavier
I
ranger
think
cards
actually
were.
now that I'm thinking about it a little bit, I think mechanologist, sorry. I think they'll be quite good. They don't really need their
I think so
majestics
too.
as much. Um, so I think they'll be quite the thing to watch out for.
Well, base boost does not.
No.
Uh, I do, I would say Puffin may to an extent because a lot of her chains. As somebody who's been playing a lot of Puffin, who I have absolutely fallen in love with, by the way. Just she's just so much fun. But as somebody who's been playing a lot of Puffin, usually for those really big turns, she really wants to have those specifically the Majestics to get the extra gears, the and then obviously the heavy hitting Majestics. But I'm sure that she could probably make do with cards like Sky Skimmer and other things.
There's somebody we've forgotten about though.
Oh no.
KO Berserker Runt.
Oh yeah. I
I'm
mean, I
just
think he'll be the same as ever.
I think he's actually gonna be a buff.
That's true. He doesn't have to. I mean, he's not quite relying on cards like Swing Big anymore to front most of his damage.
He doesn't have to
Um,
worry about
now,
all the defense reactions either.
mhm.
Or all the really good equipments. He never really cared about the really good equipments anyway. Sure, Goliath
Now
Gauntlet's gone, but that's okay. My boy might be back.
I could see it.
Is that just cope? Maybe.
Probably.
But look, I don't have my other joke deck anymore because Yoji. I that's the one big bone I have to pick.
I
Why?
do think it's some.
Why can you not have a majestic young hero?
That is true. I do think that is kind of stupid. Though you know who you know who actually just who was initially not able to be run in Sage, but who is now?
Who?
Volda. I didn't think of that until recently. She was a majestic hero until
Until the
she got
Guardian.
reprinted.
Yeah.
Guard
Guardian pack.
Yep.
But my boy Yoji, he's
Uh,
dead. He was shot in a ditch in
yep.
Colorado. He is gone. No one knows where he's at anymore. Was he good?
It's
No.
okay.
But I loved him
No,
nonetheless.
you would.
But here's the thing. I'm actually looking at like February creating a deck. The new Bravo, Young Hero Bravo. He's legal.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that card rarity right now. That's red. That's majestic. LSS. What the fuck?
I'm guessing, and I do think I have an explanation for this. I'm guessing it is because I'm guessing it is because he is a starter deck, and
Still,
so they want him to be accessible.
Yoji is literally the most useless hero. Why is my camera not focusing? Anyway, he's the most useless hero. Why can't I play him? Hmm?
Hmm.
There we go. It's not fair. It's not right. I'm okay with Prism not being new Prism being not being able to be played. That's fine. We have old Prism. We at least have a Prism. And new Prism would suck anyway.
Hmm.
But Yoji,
I
he's
think
just
I know.
funny. Give me my Yoji. Man. Sorry, cat hissed
Ah,
at the other cat.
that's why he is because Bravo, flattering showman is a rare in a certain set. I think.
Mmm.
Yeah. So in the beginner deck for Bravo, he is a rare.
Still,
Um,
I don't care.
and
Give me
then
Yoji.
he was a majestic for Smash Palace.
Don't care. Give me Yoji.
I was thinking that might have been. Well, maybe one day. Maybe one day they'll make Yoji good. I'm still I'm still waiting to see if they would ever make how they will
Can
expand talents.
It would be interesting. My cat, please. But it is nice though that we do have access to at least most, if not every hero. Actually, I think Prism and Yoji are the only two, at least off the top of my head, that aren't. I think they're the only two young heroes that have only been ever printed in Majestic. Uh,
No, Vincent is a rare, so
yep,
yeah, Vincent's fine.
yep, she's on there. I'm looking at her right now. Ma'am, hey, I got bit. Sorry. I apologize to anyone. This cat is being a brat.
Let's see. Oh, Melody is not available. Brevin is not
Well,
available.
yes, but I feel like,
Um,
why would you want to play them
who
anyway?
runs Brevin anyways?
I mean, who runs Yoji? Brevet means I see
That's
you.
true.
I play an even less useful character occasionally.
Janice, what you need is gone too.
Oh, he
No,
is. But you know who's not?
Kavdaen.
Kavdaen. And this
It's
is his
true.
bargain
He's not
bin.
gone. This is. There was a point, and I think we went
We
entirely
lost the
off the
plot.
rails.
We lost the plot
So,
entirely.
how about we do a quick transition over to
The other
uh,
format
LL?
has picked up,
Yes,
for some inexplicable reason, all the focus while I'm being attacked by a cat. Um,
largely from LSS and not really from the public, actually.
yes, much to, at least from what I've seen, to very much not good reactions. It's not
Yeah.
very popular from what I'm hearing, especially as like kind of maybe not the premiere, but definitely the secondary premiere format in all competitive Flesh and Blood, which is a
Which
choice.
was
I don't think it's a bad choice personally, but it is a choice.
Yes, it was a choice. I do, I do kind of see the appeal of, yeah, I do see the appeal to an extent of trying to think, of LL getting to play old heroes in kind of their former glory,
Hmm.
perhaps even upgraded glory. But the other problem I've seen is that, uh, yeah, the main problem I've seen is that there is a large amount of there's a large amount of just overlap. Mainly it's just uh Bravo star of the show and like Zen,
Insert
and that's it.
random rune blade here.
Oh yeah, it's either Florian or usually Viserai.
Recently I've seen it's been Briar, Viserai, or Chain. Florian actually doesn't do quite as well from what I've seen results
Oh,
wise in
well, well,
LL.
they have access to Briar, who needs Florian, right?
Yeah.
So
Um, I still don't think. So my hot take on this whole thing is, I think people are expecting too curated of a format. I kind of view LL as the same as Vintage or Legacy and Magic, where it's just kind of a free for all. Sure, you should have some
yeah,
cards banned. Some cards should just be banned. Other than that, it's going to be basically set. If you're not playing certain certain decks at certain times, you're just not going to do anything. And I don't think that's a bad thing for an eternal format, because that's what LL is supposed to be. It's an eternal format. Um, I know that's not a very popular opinion because everyone's like, this all seems half baked. I think it's baked exactly how it's supposed to be baked, which is not at all.
mhm. I so I s- uh only partially agree. Part of the reason why so many people are frustrated is the sudden focus on it. And I
Yes.
know that there is definitely a um there is definitely a portion of players who, especially like more competitive players, who understandably may have a larger focus on specifically the greater competitive format,
Hmm.
and that can certainly cause not issues but frustration. But at the same time, it does not. I feel like it doesn't entirely excuse the general. I would say, trying to think of how to word this. I feel like there has been a lot of displeasure around around LL, specifically towards LSS. And while I'm not going to be like a LSS, I don't remember the word for it, but like, look, I'm not
Apologist.
here to critic to like, yes, I'm not going to be an LSS apologist. I'm not here to uncritically condone every decision they make. I do think that there just needs to be the reality that they're not always going to make the right decision, and people need to not overreact about it,
Yes.
essentially, because it's very.
I will add one thing to my previous
Oh, shut
statement
up,
as
go ahead.
well. Um, I don't think this should be as premier of a format, though, as it is currently. With all the things I said.
That is fair.
Like, I don't think this should be like half of all the tournaments going on. I think this should be at most like maybe a quarter.
That is fair. I do think that um say that there should probably be a greater focus on Sage,
Hmm.
um
Or Blitz until
especially
it's finally retired. Because
well, I
it's
believe
not.
it already was retired.
No, there is still one
Is it?
skirmish season left for Blitz, but after that, it's gone.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um but for but I do think that Sage largely needs should be the focus. Um I do kind of agree that LL is probably should be a probably should be an option specifically for um like people who are just uh for lack of a better term, for people who just kind of want to do whatever.
Hmm.
Like they kind of like it's like competitive tabletop play essentially, I think, is kind of the idea, and that like people really should not be taking it too seriously, and I do think LSS probably shouldn't either. I mean, look at I mean, obviously Magic has not really done much with Legacy or Vintage,
No,
but
which
it's always been, but I feel like it's largely been seen as an inaccessible format for a lot of people anyways, so
hmm of course that's because it's just different price points, which is ridiculous. But I think how LSS should handle LL is it should be like fourth priority in like actual competitive play. It should be probably CC, then whatever Blitz format, either Blitz or Sage, sealed, and then it should be LL. I don't think it should be anywhere near where it's at currently, just because it's a little too. I don't know what the right word is, but I guess cut and dry. It's something that people are going to be able to just figure out pretty much immediately, unless a new set comes out. Just because these are heroes that aren't around in CC because they've done too well.
uh-huh.
So they should stay where they were, if not maybe even more powerful, access to new cards, but they really shouldn't be as prominent of a format because there aren't people who really want to play, Chain at peak, Starvo at peak, Briar at peak, any of these heroes at peak because it's really kind of a once you sit down, you see who you're playing against. Like, oh, they're playing Briar, I'm playing Tough Nut. Oh well, GG.
Yeah, it just gets kind of it gets kind of unfun.
Hmm.
um I mean, and I mean, I know that that the comparison is not at all equal, considering how yeah, it's not equal, but it's kind of how I felt about Modern while I still played Magic frequently, in that like just so oft just so often the issue became
Oh,
the
I'm playing
format just
against
wasn't enjoyable.
Ruby Storm in
Yeah,
2024 standard. Well, I guess that's it for me. I'm playing funny haha modern deck.
yeah, or like even just like a lesser tier. Like I mean, and I don't even think Ruby Storm is that bad compared
Y-
to other defenders like Yawgmoth
Yeah,
and
like previous
Yawgmoth
offenders, it probably
combo.
wasn't as bad, but it's the first one I thought of off the top of my
Yeah,
head. The most
no,
recent
that's fair.
offender, we should say.
Yeah, but no, but you do, but it's you have it right, but generally you do have the right idea. It just like it's not fun to play against a deck where it's like, oh, I want to play, oh, I play something a little bit more casual or even
It's
marginally more casual. Like
it's kind of the
it's just like,
coughing baby versus
oh, I
atomic
lose.
bomb.
Yeah, I exactly. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I know that Dromai is pretty good because Dromai is just Dromai just Dromai things, yada yada. But
It's not
it would be kind.
Briar
But
good.
no, it's not Briar good, especially because Briar got a huge upgrade in. You got a huge upgrade with what is it? With Rosetta,
Yeah.
because that's all Lightning Earth cards. Same kind of with Starvo, who who was already really great, which is why he LL'd so fast, and then he just got even better because of Rosetta, and it just makes it an unenjoyable experience for those aren't who may not want to really focus on that kind of gameplay.
Hmm. I will say with Living Legends, I think with the most recent ban and restricted, I don't think Rosetta Thorn was a bad pick. I think it was a
Probably
great
not.
choice because Rosetta Thorn, the most broken weapon ever? I do believe so, in my humble opinion. Like why was the class given the ability to play non-attack, attack, non-attack, attack? Uh just, you know, then handed a free cake every time they did that.
Hmm. I mean, similar. What's the other card that does? There's another one that's kind of. Oh, Zephyr
Duskblade.
Needle.
Oh, sorry. Different line.
I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking ninjas, but like it's kind of the same problem with Zephyr Needle, where just
Mm-hmm.
like in any deck that in any deck that remotely cares about buffing daggers,
It's great.
Zephyr Needle is just so good.
Yeah.
Um,
And the same thing with like there are only actually 5 cards banned in LL. Carrion Husk, good. Crown of Seeds, good. Kraken Vein, good. Rosetta Thorn, Zephyr Needle. Everything else that has
nice.
been touched is only restricted, which includes Okanold, good. For the love of God, keep that where it is. Um, Crippling Crush is actually restricted. I did not know that until right now. Good
I'm a
though.
little surprised about Carrion Husk. Well, I guess to keep Chain in check, but
Yeah, I think that's really it
um,
because Chain, I mean, giving Chain such a high block value for free essentially does seem kind of unnecessary.
mhm.
Um, I will say though, with Rosetta Thorn being banned, I think this gives a chance for Duskblade to finally shine a little bit, which is a card
Yeah.
that has never had the chance to shine ever. And I'm
Because it
excited to see
was
what
banned
happens with it.
probably around the same. I was going to say it was banned probably around the same time as Chain.
It was banned before
Well,
it was
during.
released, if you don't remember that fun little tidbit.
Oh,
It's the only card in the history of this game that was banned
I
before official release because once it was revealed, everyone lost their shit, understandably, because Chain was legal at the time. And LSS realized, oh god, you guys are right, let's just get rid of it before it becomes a problem. If you're not
I did not know
familiar,
that. I was not
viewer, with
around for
what
that.
Duskblade does, if you played an attack action card and a non-attack action card, you put a +1 power counter on Duskblade. It's a 2 power weapon that attacks for 1. But at the beginning of your invades, if you haven't done that, you remove all the +1 counters off of it. Mind you, this is a Rune Blade weapon. And you're basically
So
giving
it's
them a pan of brownies every time a Rune Blade does anything in any given turn with Duskblade. It's better than the cake of Rosetta Thorn, but I'm excited to see what happens with it.
mhm.
Because I think
I
Duskblade
do
is a neat
wonder.
thing.
Yeah, I do wonder if there will ever be a point where some of the where uh, Duskblade could reasonably be unbanned without it being just horribly damaging to CC.
I don't think so.
Based on your reaction, I'm guessing probably
I
not.
really
But
don't think so. It's just so fundamental. Like it literally just gives Rune Blades exactly what they want. It gives them more for what they're already doing, and I don't think that's ever going to be healthy in CC. In LL, I think it's okay, just because of the fact that it's LL, and you do have to kind of work for it, but you also have a lot more resources to deal with it in LL compared to CC, typically speaking.
mm,
Uh, but yeah, I want to see Duskblade. I might go buy one after this episode. Who knows? Because I do have a Briar
that's
LL deck, not because she's OP. I'm playing with a knife, uh, but because I pulled the Marvel Briar and I had nothing else to do with her, so I wanted to build a deck.
just fair. Um, the only I will say it's kind of funny because I have been slowly collecting the Runeblade and Shadow Runeblade Majestics. Simply because I know one day there's going to be a Runeblade I absolutely want to build.
Hmm.
For a while I was going to do Florian, but I'm holding off simply because I think he's going to LL sooner than later
Probably.
because he's yeah. Florian is
Well,
doing really well
not
in
really
CC from what I
recently. It's
well
kind
he's been
of
kind of held
it's kind of the
or from
Verdance, Gravy Bones, Syndra triangle running rampant right now. But I guess once one of those three
yeah.
probably leave, he'll probably pick back up. I don't think he does well in any of those three is the problem.
Not, no, definitely not, because he is a slower hero, but he is, I think, better equipped to, well, at least from what I understand, he's better equipped to deal with, he's better equipped to defend since
Hmm.
he's Earth, um, and he can be turned on really easily. And once he's turned on, like, yeah, and once his ability is on, it's just so easy for him to
Start
really,
ramping up the tempo,
yeah, yeah.
which is understandable.
Similar somewhat to Verdansk too.
Yeah, but I think
Um,
Verdance does it just quicker. Also, the fact that like it's pure arcane coming from her, rather than like you know some rune chance is like, no, here, get zapped for 43, idiot.
yeah, I've played against a Verdansk, and it's genuinely very rough.
Oh, I'm not looking
So,
forward to it because I know at some point I will have to, unless I just wait it
yeah.
out
Oh,
long enough.
we all hope. I do. It is a little unfortunate how well Gravy is doing. I do think, to an extent, he's not doing quite as well as I feel. He's obviously doing very well,
Hmm.
but he's not doing insanely
Yeah, I
well,
don't
at
think
least in
he's
terms of
the
LL
biggest
points.
problem. I think he's the weakest of the three, if I'm not mistaken. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. I do believe it is Verdance and then Syndra, or Syndra and then Verdance, and then Gravy. I think he's third place no matter how you cut it. So he's not top dog, but he's definitely doing well for himself,
He's
which is neat. I'm not hating it.
Yeah. Um I mean, and I do, and I mean, compared to in LL points, he has been growing a little bit slower. However, likely it is going to be it's going to be an enigma situation where once one of the problem children go, then he's going to pretty quickly fall behind. I think probably Syndra. He can deal with Verdance decently well. Not super great because he does rely a lot on various cards to
Hmm.
on his various equipment to function, but um, but I mean, it's very easy for, at the very least, yeah, it's very easy for him to deal with some of those heavier arcane because he runs so many blues, and Verdance as a slower attacker does make it harder for him to is does make it harder um, to keep his minions around. Where if he can keep one or two around, he's able to really pop off, which Verdance can't keep up with.
Hmm. Yeah. Back to LL though, because we did get a little sidetracked, like always.
Yes, that is true.
Um,
You come for the sidetrackness, otherwise you don't watch us.
yeah. I don't think. I think people are overestimating what LL is supposed to be. My my hot take. Like I said, I think it's definitely meant to be the legacy vintage of Fab, and I think that's a problem mainly because LSS doesn't have anything else to kind of fit in at the moment, and I think they're trying to get more people on board with the idea of LL, so they're trying to promote it more through these major events. The problem is it's a little underbaked because it's an eternal format. Eternal formats
Mm-hmm.
are extremely hard to keep balanced in a way that's fun, unless you're just in it for the spectacle of it, essentially. Like the people who do play vintage, we're like, yeah, sure, they have 8 dual lands in their deck. They know they've gotten themselves into, though. Like, that's just
Mm-hmm.
a given thing once you get into those kind of formats with Magic. Uh, you know what you're getting yourself into. I don't think people have realized what they're getting themselves into yet. And I don't think LSS has realized what they've gotten themselves into yet either, is the problem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and something to keep in mind that I feel like a lot of people have been a lot of people have been a little bit more not hesitant, but that a lot of people have kind of ignored is the fact that LSS or Fab is still a very young
It's like, what,
game.
6 now?
Magic, yeah, this is
It's
year
like, I think this
I
is year
believe
6.
we're
I think
Yeah.
the sixth anniversary just
Um,
happened last month, if I'm not mistaken.
it's either 5 or 6.
No, five was last year because Ira was the thing.
Oh, you're right. Um, yes, 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 yes. Or was that earlier this year? It's hard to keep. Um, because I, 'cause, I mean, I know that Ira did happen earlier, and that did mark the 5th year anniversary. But I swear that was earlier
No,
than
that was around October,
I thought.
November last year.
Mm. But yeah, but still, I do think that
Ma'am.
is just genuinely something that people keep people keep doing is they keep trying to compare LSS to Wizards of the Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, and I mean, I have my own issues with Wizards of the Coast as somebody who's played Magic for years and years, but they've also had but they've also had a successful game for 30 years, and
Over.
they've started over 30 years at this point, and they've started making a lot of decisions in the past like 4 or 5 that have made a lot of people kind of like, well, I don't really know if they still care about the game the same the yeah, I don't really know if they still care about the game as much as they do the money.
Mm-hmm.
LSS isn't LSS has not had that same has not had that same opportunity or time frame. As far as I can tell, LSS still very much cares about their game. But they also are trying. But there is also something to be said about really trying to compete not only as a card game but also as a business in a very but also as a business
In a very
in
competitive industry,
all of this. Yes.
if you're not
Um.
one of the top three, it's really hard to pull off a successful card game. Top three, of course, being Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. If you're not one of those three, most people won't give you the time of day. The fact that LSS has been successful for 6 years and just keeps growing should say that they're at least trying to do things that are correct. I know
Mhm.
we're on the same wavelength about all this. I think the problem, though, and other thing people don't quite realize is Fab is very much not like a traditional card game. I know that's kind of like, duh, of course it's not, but like it really isn't. And I don't think people realize how difficult it is to just balance a card game to begin with, especially one that follows kind of the more traditional design rules of like the big three, which all kind of share similar designs anyway. Um, so I do believe people aren't giving them as like I think they're not giving them just like a little bit as much grace as they probably should. I'm not saying they should. You be like, oh no, it's perfectly fine, LSS. Like no, we should hold them accountable still. But I think people are
Yeah.
like a little too gung ho on the man, they really fucked up on LL here, didn't they, guys? Like, this is a terrible idea. Why would they ever do any of this thing?
Yeah. And I initially wasn't going to bring this up, but I am unfortunately still a somewhat Twitter user. And I
Same.
do just, and it's so off, and I very often see just somebody who being like, well, my faith in the game has been shaken because of such and such a decision. And it's usually something like, and it's usually something kind of innocuous, like,
Yeah, fairly
what
minor.
is it?
I
Kind
mean,
of, yeah.
maybe upwards to like, okay, this is a problem, but we'll have to wait and see what their reaction to it is. Like the LL stuff. Sure, their reaction
Uh-huh.
to like a lot of the problems with LL, where it was like literally, I think only two heroes had won earlier in the skirmish season, that being Briar and Starvo,
Uh-huh.
was just to ban Rosetta Thorn and restrict Deadwood Dirge. Is that an appropriate
Mm,
response to Runeblades kind of being like the only option in LL? I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's probably not quite enough, but I'm not the expert here. I'm just an idiot who loves a card game, or two, or three,
yeah.
or
I
four.
Now that's how I feel, especially because I've recently I played Pokemon as a kid, and I've recently been getting back into it just because
It's a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun. Now the people kind of scalpers. I hate them with
Yeah,
a seething passion.
kill them.
Um, those
Anyway,
people. agreed. But I mean, those people do kind of make it difficult. But but genuinely, it has become a very. I feel like, especially in recent times, has become a very fun game and has definitely developed more of a focus back on like evolving Pokemon, which is not something that was the case back when I was playing as a kid. This I this is entirely on this is entirely yeah, this is an entire sidetrack again, but I will refrain. I will try to keep it short. When I was a kid, I was playing back around the black white era into parts of the X and Y era of the card game. Um and it was very full of like basic EXs that you could easily turn on, and that made up, from what I understood at the time, at least as a child. Again, I was not invested in the more competitive scene, but it made a lot of but it did so much in terms of making the game just let's focus on EXs, and even into my early adult years when I with the decks and stuff I still had, it was still like that, at least in my head. But now it's really developed, and I think has started to go back to a more interesting scene where it isn't just get your strongest card and actually use some strategy.
Hmm.
But I'm I'll digress.
Yes, and actually, just touch on other card games and their design choices. I think because we did touch on Wizards a little bit there. I think the fact that last year, I believe it was, where the big bans happened in Commander. I'm not mistaken, am I? It was last year, right?
Was that last year or the year before?
I
I
think it was
think it was
last year.
last year.
Yeah, where Dockside Extortionist, a whole bunch of really powerful mana accelerants were banned, causing the independent rules committee to hand over rules committee ship to Wizards and all that fun stuff. I think it's very telling though that Wizards of the Coast is going to reprint Dockside Extortionist in the upcoming Universe Beyond set. Yes, it's actually ridiculous
Mm-hmm.
and true. I'm expecting to see it unbanned within another year or two, just because of that alone. I was already kind of expecting to see some of those cards get unbanned anyway, but if they're getting rid of that one in Universes Beyond set, it's probably coming back in every format, which is
Probably.
really, I feel like, what should be the gold standard for a shitty business practice to your consumer level is. I think Wizards has the gold star on that, um,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the fact that they've already reneged on so many things they said would never happen because it makes them more money. Universe Beyond being standard legal. That's a thing from now on, even though originally they were never going to be. This
It's
Dockside
yeah,
reprint, that's definitely going to come back in Commander at some point, just because, hey, we can sell more copies of the Avatar of the Last Airbender set now, but guys, let's go. And everything else in
you
between.
I you have no idea how frustrating it has been as somebody who's played and loved this game for so long to just be like, wow, this is just kind of wow, there's just like so many really shitty practices that we now have to deal with. And it's as and I have played this game since I was about 8. I am now in my early 20s. Um over over 12 years of playing this game, and like I feel like it's telling that in recent times I have become so disenfranchised with the game simply because of these very practices.
I believe
And
disillusioned is the word.
I feel like both have some
Yeah, fair
merit,
enough.
but
Anyway,
yes, you are you are probably correct. But still, like I have not seen I have not seen LSS do anything quite to the same measure,
I
as
mean,
at least as far as I'm aware.
there have been
I'm
some
sure
weird things with
someone
like Blaze being Blitz legal, but you could only get her from
Mhm.
that. Was it a convention or event? I cannot remember. It doesn't matter.
I believe it was a convention. I think it was a
That
Gen Con actually, Gen
yeah,
Con
that
2024.
that kind of sucks. But it's not Wizard of the Coast level suck. It still sucks. I don't think it should be a thing that should happen. I don't think unique cards should ever be printed at any sort of convention only level. The most recent convention exclusive thing, the reprints of various pieces of equipment, that I think is okay. It sucks for the people
Yeah.
who really want those arts because they're stupid expensive if you don't get them at the convention, and they're already expensive if you do. Um, but at least it's not mechanically unique. And I think that's the important thing. And I don't think, as long as LSS doesn't start doing that on the regular or even a semi regular basis, I think it'll be okay. Because Wizards does and would. Would and does. And will continue to do something like
And
that.
to kind of to that same kind of in that same general idea, I do think it's better for I do think it's better that they would make more convention exclusive promos of cards that already exist compared to just brand new cards that were a yeah brand new cards
Yeah, the mechanically
and then
unique.
make yes like kind of the same it was kind of the same situation with the Walking Dead, but it was kind of yeah with the Walking Dead secret lair of where like if you wanted these cards you had to buy a special thing
Mm-hmm.
from Wizards of the Coast website on something that, as many people who've played Magic would know, has been kind of horribly maintained, at least from what I understand, and have somewhat and have. Well, I've actually not been unlucky enough to experience that for myself, but but I do have some firsthand. I do have some firsthand witnesses who have said that they've had the same issues. Um, and as far as I'm aware, Blaze I think is the only instance of that, at
I do
least as far as
believe
I can.
so. I know with the upcoming Philadelphia, is it Worlds? I think. I can't remember.
I think so.
Their exclusive card for that is Rhinar, dressed up in
Yeah,
golfing stuff with a golf club as his weapon. That's totally okay, in my opinion.
yeah. I
You're
mean, I
not
think the
missing
weapon is
out on getting Rhinar because he's only available at Philadelphia. You're just missing out on a funny art of Rhinar,
yeah.
which
Similar things with
again,
Sorry, go ahead.
Blaze I think was a complete mistake just because of the fact that she was exclusive at that convention event, whatever it was. Hopefully, they've learned their lesson from that because they haven't done it since, and I hope they don't plan on doing it at any point in the future because that would be a really terrible step backwards for a company that does try to
Mhm.
at least attempt to treat its player base respectably while still trying to make some money, which is all you can really ask
Yeah.
in from anything. Like we don't need to be, nickel and dimed every 3 seconds, or jangled new
Mhm.
shiny. Ooh, look, it's Assassin's Creed. Ooh, look, it's Avatar. Ooh, look, it's
Spider-Man.
Final Fantasy. We don't need that literally like every other month. And hopefully LSS stays on the track of like a few major sets a year with some side products thrown in between.
Genuinely, it has been such a breath of fresh air. Just and I think I mentioned this to you before in private, but I'll just say it here too. It has been such a breath of fresh air to have sets that to have infrequent sets
Hmm.
because like with especially because like with Magic sets got released so often. I remember a few years ago when Lord of the Rings came out. It was Lord of the Rings and then Bloomborough, like practically a month apart. I remember I went to the Lord of the Rings pre-release, and then the Bloomborough pre-release, from what I remember, was quite literally like a month later.
It's definitely not
Um,
quite because Bloomborough only released
was it?
last year, I believe. It's been a few years since Lord of the
What was I
Rings.
thinking?
It doesn't matter.
What was I thinking of?
It probably was just set though, and that's the problem.
Yeah, it was. It was two sets like back. It was two sets back to back, and I remember I was so frustrated because, especially as somebody uh who doesn't have who doesn't have a ton of money. Like I mean, I sink a pretty good chunk of money into Flesh and Blood, but that's because I have things I can sell, trade in, that sort of thing. But as somebody who does try to
Be a
oh,
little
it was
financially responsible. Magic is not for you.
yeah, it was March of the Machine, and then Lord of the Rings was a month and
Yes.
10 days later, and then Commander Masters was August 4th, um, and then Wilds of a Train September 8th.
That's
So
what it
there
was.
were just there was like 4 sets back to back.
Literally.
Um,
That's how it's been since I got back into Magic. Because, disclaimer, I was in Magic back around like 20, around the Tarkir block, like the original Tarkir block. Yes, block. Um, and I only played for like a year and a
God, I
half, two
miss
years at that point.
God, I miss
Then I got
blocks.
out of it. And I came back 2022, 2023, that ballpark time frame, after I got back into Fab, which is the card game that got me back into card games.
I
Why we
remember
love
that.
Fab. Um, and it just like felt so different. Like literally, I would blink and a new set would be out. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? What's this? What's that?
Mhm.
Where are all these things? Like what's everything going on right now? It's just so disorienting for somebody. I was essentially new to Magic again, even though I had a fundamental understanding of how the game worked, just because like so many things had happened in between like 2014, 2015, and 2022, 2023, like that time frame, which it, it, like Commander became a thing. Like whenever I was playing, Commander really wasn't that big of a thing yet. Like it was starting to become more of a thing, but like everything I watched revolving Magic was still a standard 60 card format oriented. So I was like, what do you mean? What is a commander? It's a legendary creature. Okay. You have to only use the colors of that card. Like, what? What if I want to use this though? Like, oh, you can't. And all this other stuff. That's a completely different tangent again. I'll wrap it up
Yeah.
quick. Um, and it's just, it feels so hard to keep track of what's going on. Like I genuinely struggle. The only reason why I remember when sets come out as well as I do in recent years is because I worked for an LGS and I had to know when these sets were coming out. And I had to, and that's the only reason why they stuck in my brain as well as they have. Because otherwise, I'd be like, yeah, sure, Eldraine came out at the same time fucking Assassin's Creed did, right? And it's like, no, they actually came out like 2 years apart. It's like, what do you mean? Because
Yeah.
there's just
And my
constant product. Constant product. They have 7 standard legal sets coming out this year. 7
7. And that's not,
standard.
and I mean,
That's not
I'm
including
sure that
any
there's
side
going to be,
product.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, I'm sure that there's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be like another 2 or 3 sets that are specialized or
I'm
something,
sure.
maybe like, or yeah, or something like, oh, what is it? Like, I mean, I don't think they'll make another Modern Horizons this soon, but
Probably not.
still, um,
But I
but
could
I
see
mean, it still is kind of
now
whatever.
including all the secret layers and everything else in between. And it's
Oh
like
my gosh! Don't even get me started on the secret layers.
we just had like 4 of them release this past month at the same time, and there's gonna probably be more like 4 more next month, if not more, and it's going to be like 6 more for the following month, and then 7, 6, 4, 4, 3. And LSS though is like, yeah, have like 4 main sets a year. Here's some armory decks in between. Here's a
I still love
mastery
those.
pack,
Mhm.
and it's like
Honestly,
I
I am
can
really happy with the mastery packs.
I can give them a little bit of
Go
a
ahead,
break
finish
on
your thought.
LL because they're not, swarming us with a whole bunch of product. They're at least working on trying to make things work in between. Like they literally aren't just sitting there designing a new card every week because they need to keep up with the machine. Like sure, they have plans in the
Yeah,
future. We've seen that with the drama related to the new Dromai being AI, which it's a complicated situation. I understand, but I don't think it's that big of a deal in this particular case. Um, but at least like, hey, they're working on something, but it's not like the thing that's coming out in 3 months because the machine's demanding more blood to be sacrificed to it. If they're still able to juggle new cards and balance the things they already have, it's not just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks.
uh-huh. and I do think that there is kind of a maybe not lesson isn't what I'm trying to think of, but I do think that there is also something to be said about 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 having that greater focus on what's already there. And I feel like part of this is going to this is I mean it's related to flesh and so whatever. I do feel like this is kind of well embodied with the oh, what is it with the not armory expansion, the expansion slot,
Mm,
and how greatly those have affected the various heroes.
yes. Like,
Simply
Prism
because
wouldn't be
because
playable without the expansion slots. Like, at all. I love expansion slots. I might be biased, but it's I think they're possibly the best way they can at least support heroes without having to make a whole new set based around essentially that hero, which I don't think would be very smart in general. It would be smart for them, it wouldn't be
no,
smart for the player base. It just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So I think expansion slots, they're great.
yeah, and I feel like that's something that seen in isn't really seen in Magic, and
No,
I mean, and also that, and I feel like LSS has been better about trying to keep up with like bans, at least in more recent times,
they
and
could be maybe a
I
little bit more harsh on them sometimes. I will say they are a little lenient from time to time. But whenever they do
yeah
like go full hog, like they did with Art of War in every single book in Wraith, um, I love it. I genuinely love it. Just because sometimes you just need drastic measures to fix a problem that either has happened or to keep a problem from happening ever again.
yeah, and kind of where I was going with this was that look as that compare that to Magic, who I think they still haven't banned Vivi yet.
No,
Uh,
I think it's
who
heavily
has been
speculated, but it has
terror?
not happened yet.
It's yeah, it's speculated, but it's been 4 months, and it's reminding me of Hogak Summer, back when this was 4 or 5 years ago, where Hogak was released in at the time the brand new Modern Horizons one set, oh the first Modern Horizons set,
Hmm.
and then yeah, and then now and then nowadays um it it took so long for them to ban because it was from a new set, and they were like, no, we'll ban around it. We don't want to we don't want to make people think that our we didn't balance our new set, and then they had to anyways because Hogak continued to be so strong. And it's a similar and it's now similar for Vivi, where they're like, well, we don't want to make people not like our Final Fantasy set because she's one of the best cards in there.
One of the best
And
cards,
now,
period. Like, BV's
yeah,
ridiculous anyway.
and but the point is that while LSS, I will certainly not say has been perfect
No, like
in
with
terms of their
the recent LL bans.
banning and stuff. Yeah, like that probably could have happened sooner, but at the very least, I feel like they are trying,
Yeah,
or at the very least are trying. Well, or at the very least are trying to make sure that they are keeping up with what's going on, and not just being like, oh, we'll let it run rampant because we like our new set.
yeah.
Like that hasn't happened.
Like, I think prime example is whenever Zen was running around. He's the reason why we lost Art of War in every single book in Wraith. Because they realized, oh,
Mhm.
oh, oh. And they nipped it in the bud. Sure, it might have been kind of half bloomed at that point, but at least they did something and they kept doing something to stop him from just running rampant. Even though he was the new thing. Like, literally the newest thing. I don't think the set had been out for like more than a month or two. Month, maybe not even a month at that point, when they like kneecapped everything just to keep Zen from going rampant. And I'm okay with that because it shows, at least to me, that if the chips are down, they'll go all in if they need to.
Mhm.
Again, I don't think the LL bans recently were enough, probably. We don't know for sure until more data comes out. I think Runeblade is still the top dog. I think it's Viserai currently. Maybe Chain. It's one of them two. It doesn't matter. Um, so maybe more things need to be done to keep them from being so dominant in the format. But at least they're trying.
No.
It's better than a lot of other companies
Mm,
would be, especially in a format like that.
yeah. Well, I do think. I mean, I think we've been talking for a while. Is there? Do we have any closing statements?
Um, fuck Wizards. Love LSS. Go play Pokemon if you haven't.
You
Ah!
know, that's fair. That is very fair. Um, I guess my closing statements, uh, Trevor said, make try Pokemon if you haven't. Um, and if you are negative, and if you are being shitty on Twitter, stop it.
Or
Do
at least
like
maybe,
if you need to take, yeah,
or at
like
least
if you need to take a break,
maybe
that's fine.
just
But
expand
yeah,
your horizons a little bit in the form of like
yeah,
realize maybe it's not as bad over here as you think. Could be
yeah.
better, of course, but it's not all doom and gloom all the time.
Could also be much worse.
But keep companies accountable. Don't let them just do
That is
things
true.
for free.
That is true. Nobody likes a shitty company.
No.
There are plenty of them to. There are plenty of them to criticize.
Nestle,
I feel like at the moment that is true. Um,
way off
Nestle,
topic now.
Watsy. Uh, I yes that. With all that to say, um, just do try, but like do try to be understanding. And of course, do keep companies accountable. In the end, uh, if they are not being good to the player base, that is entirely their fault, and they need to fix something. But
Yeah,
also, like, do try to be understanding with things that are kind of bigger, like LSS. It's hard to keep a game for. It's hard to keep something like this
it's hard to keep games
perfectly balanced.
balanced in general.
Yeah,
It's impossible nearly. So roll with the punches if you can. Sometimes, if things are really bad, that's when you start getting mad. Until then, just be like, can we try to fix this next time, guys? Thanks, and carry on.
yeah. Anyways,
But with that, I
well,
believe I think we are done rambling on about random things, and we've definitely touched on the topics we wanted to touch on. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
have a good one.